I'm genuinely impressed. This game tracker feature on the HomeCourt app was able to track all the shots created by myself and a friend of mine. I suspect it's probably due to a couple of things, like us wearing different attire. So I'm in the black and my friend's wearing the red. And it's probably because he's a completely different height to I am. And his build is different. We're using two different balls. We're also indoors, which basically means that there's no other moving parts to it. So that is normally the environment, so rustling of trees or anything like that. There's no other movement except for us. But this really just shows you how crazy this HomeCourt app really is. So the HomeCourt app is able to do all these things that I'm about to list out. Number one, auto slicing all the shots and then group them up into which were my shots and which are my friend's shots. This auto slice feature then breaks it down into all your shot makes, misses, overall streaks, and basically the entire length of the game. This is extremely helpful to provide feedback to you and your practice partner or athlete if you're a coach. For the coach, it can be very valuable, especially if you have a group session where you are training two different individuals. Number two, it also then gets a map of where all those shots were taken. So breaking them down from the makes and attempts with the accuracy to the percentage in the paint, mid-range, and three-point mark. Number three, then there's the shot analysis, showing you all the release times, blue being the misses, orange being the makes, and the average time of release. It also shows you the release angle, the vertical, and average speed. Now, after comparing the data, there were a lot of things that actually was quite interesting. Now, bear in mind, my friend was a Unigames representative level hooper, and I was an amateur. He's played over 10 years of basketball, and I've only started seriously practicing in the past 2 to 3 years. This means that clearly in terms of expertise, in terms of skill acquisition, in terms of also practice, he is a lot more elite than I am. And I think the data really shows this too. Now, obviously, for him, a no-brainer would be that his shot percentage would be higher than mine. And when we look at the comparison, it's very clearly to be the case. Now, also, Steve Nash did some free throw shooting with the HomeCourt app, and he only had a release angle range of 4 degrees, which meant that the biggest difference between his free throw angle was 4 degrees. That's a lot of consistency. Now, Josh's graph also showed something similar, where his release angle only varied by around about 10 degrees. Mine, on the other hand, was almost 30 degrees. Now, look, I did do some layups in there, and that does skew the data a little bit, but bear in mind, I did heaps and heaps of shots as well. Now, I was also talking about how he practiced versus how I practice. And this is where I believe his consistency plays a role. There, I got more shots up, which was 77 versus 56 to him. Notice how sporadic my shots were in comparison to his. It makes sense then that though he shot less than I did, he practiced each shot more times in that spot. So as an example, the right elbow pull-up jumper and the left three-point shot. I believe this is what Kobe was implying when he was talking about that in the fundamentals interview.
Because what I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals. All right, what do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. All right, after that, all right, creating your own shot. And then you focus. So I started creating a menu of things.
You can see that interview down below. And also having a structure and to be disciplined to stick to that structure, I think it does lead to more growth in the long term. Bear in mind, as a beginner, my tendency is to just go with whatever goes and whatever I feel like doing. But I believe if I can stick to a structure, if I can be disciplined in that and try to learn those skills, I will also be able to grow and become a better hooper. Alright, if you want to see a thorough review of the HomeCourt app, check out the top video. If you want to see me testing out the data accuracy of the HomeCourt app, check out that bottom video. You can also see the full video of Steve Nash as well as a Kobe interview in the description below. If you stayed this long, all I want to say to you guys is thank you and keep going keep growing, and always point to Christ.